In the history of professional football, few players have single-handedly changed the game. But one man's explosive combination of speed, strength, and pure aggression forced the entire NFL to rewrite its playbook. His name was Lawrence Taylor, and when he stepped onto the field, quarterbacks lost sleep at night. Before Lawrence Taylor, nobody thought a defensive player could dominate a game the way a star quarterback or wide receiver did. But LT wasn't just playing defense, he was unleashing a nightmare that transformed football forever. Lawrence Julius Taylor was born on February 4, 1959, in Williamsburg, Virginia. From his earliest days on the football field, Taylor refused to be called Larry, a name he felt was for golf pros or bowlers, anyone whose life included an element of restraint. And restraint was never part of Taylor's vocabulary. At the University of North Carolina, Taylor's raw talent was immediately apparent. Bobby Cale, a North Carolina assistant coach, remembered, as a freshman playing on special teams, he'd jump a good 6 or 7 feet in the air to block a punt, then land on the back of his neck. He was reckless, just reckless. This recklessness, combined with his extraordinary athletic gifts, made Taylor a standout. After an All-American career at UNC from 1978 to 1981, Taylor entered the NFL draft as one of the most promising defensive prospects in history. The New York Giants selected Taylor second overall in the 1981 NFL draft. Despite some controversy surrounding his contract demands, the two sides quickly resolved their differences, and the NFL would never be the same. Taylor's impact was immediate and unprecedented. In his rookie season, he recorded 9.5 sacks, forced 8 fumbles, and was named both NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year and NFL Defensive Player of the Year, becoming the only player in NFL history to win both awards in the same season. Former Giants teammate George Martin described the transformation that would occur when Taylor put on his uniform. He would be transformed into this homicidal maniac. This intensity made Taylor not just a great player, but a revolutionary force. What made Taylor truly special wasn't just his individual achievements, it was how he forced the entire league to adapt to his presence. Before Taylor, offensive schemes treated linebackers as secondary concerns. Running backs were typically assigned to block blitzing linebackers, a strategy that had worked for decades. But Taylor rendered this approach obsolete. His combination of size, speed, and strength was something the league had never seen before. As one NFL coach put it, Lawrence Taylor, defensively, has had as big an impact as any player I've ever seen. He changed the way defense is played, the way pass rushing is played, the way linebackers play, and the way offenses block linebackers. Washington Redskins head coach Joe Gibbs was among the first to recognize that traditional blocking schemes were useless against Taylor. "We had to try in some way to have a special game plan just for Lawrence Taylor," Gibbs recalled. "Now, you didn't do that very often in this league, but I think he's one person that we learned the lesson the hard way. We lost ball games." Gibbs developed the two tight end offense and created the H-back position specifically to counter Taylor's dominance. "I mean, everything you did on offense was predicated to where he was and what he was doing," Gibbs admitted. Perhaps Taylor's most lasting impact on football strategy was elevating the importance of the left tackle position. Before Taylor, left tackles weren't considered premium positions. But as Taylor terrorized right-handed quarterbacks from their blind side, teams realized they needed exceptional athletes to protect their most valuable assets. San Francisco 49ers head coach Bill Walsh pioneered using offensive guards to block Taylor in the 1982 playoffs, a tactic that was quickly copied around the league. Soon, teams were using their best offensive linemen to counter Taylor, fundamentally changing offensive line priorities and salary structures. As Michael Lewis detailed in his book The Blind Side, Taylor's dominance made the left tackle the second most important position in football after quarterback. Teams built bigger, more athletic offensive lines specifically because they were terrified of what Taylor could do to their quarterbacks. On November 18, 1985, during a Monday Night Football game against the Washington Redskins, Taylor delivered one of the most infamous hits in NFL history. As he blitzed from the blind side, Taylor sacked quarterback Joe Theismann with such force that it resulted in a compound fracture of Theismann's leg, instantly ending his career. The play became a defining moment in NFL history, a visceral demonstration of Taylor's destructive power. Years later, Taylor reflected on the moment with unexpected empathy. "It's not a moment I want to remember or see again." What's telling about this play wasn't just its brutality, but Taylor's immediate reaction. He was the first to call for medical help, recognizing instantly that something terrible had happened. Even in his most fearsome moment, Taylor showed a humanity that belied his on-field persona. In 1986, Taylor had what many consider the greatest season by a defensive player in NFL history. He recorded a league-leading 20.5 sacks and became only the second defensive player to win the NFL Most Valuable Player award, and the only one to be the unanimous selection. The Giants finished the season 14-2 and dominated their opponents in the NFC playoffs, outscoring San Francisco and Washington by a combined 66-3. Taylor appeared on the cover of Sports Illustrated the week leading up to Super Bowl 21 with a warning to the Denver Broncos. In the Super Bowl, Taylor made a crucial touchdown-preventing tackle on a goal line play in the first half, stopping Broncos quarterback John Elway as he sprinted out on a rollout. The Giants went on to win 39-20, giving Taylor his first championship. After 6 seasons, Taylor had accomplished what seemed impossible: NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year, NFL Defensive Player of the Year 3 times, First-Team All-Pro 6 times, League MVP, and a Super Bowl champion. But surprisingly, Taylor felt let down rather than elated after the victory, a glimpse into the complex psychology that drove him. Taylor's relationship with Giants head coach Bill Parcells was legendary. During Taylor's second year in the NFL, the Giants were playing Philadelphia at home. A defensive call required Taylor to drop into coverage, but he rushed the quarterback instead and got a sack. As Taylor came off the field, Parcells berated him for not doing his job. Taylor simply replied, "I knew I could get him before he passed the ball." Later in the same game, on the identical defensive call, Taylor again disregarded his assignment and sacked the quarterback. Another time, the Giants were preparing to face the Washington Redskins. During a film session, Taylor was falling asleep. Linebacker Carl Banks recalled that Taylor stood up and said, "Show me one pass play and I'll tell you the plan." After watching just one play, Taylor went to the chalkboard, designed what everyone should do against the Redskins, and then went back to sleep. He recorded 3 sacks in that game. As Banks put it, "Lawrence just saw the game different than the rest of us." Taylor continued his dominance through the late 1980s, recording double-digit sacks each season from 1984 through 1990. In 1990, he helped lead the Giants to their second Super Bowl victory, defeating the Buffalo Bills 20-19 in Super Bowl 25. By this point, Taylor had cemented his legacy as one of the greatest defensive players of all time. He and fellow linebackers Carl Banks, Gary Reasons, Pepper Johnson, and Hall of Famer Harry Carson formed a unit nicknamed the Crunch Bunch, regarded as one of the best linebacking corps in NFL history. Taylor played until 1993, finishing his career with 132.5 official sacks. The NFL didn't count sacks as an official statistic until 1982, his second season. 9 interceptions and 33 forced fumbles. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1999, a first-ballot selection that reflected his immense impact on the game. Taylor's brilliance on the field was often contrasted with his struggles off it. Throughout his career and after retirement, Taylor battled substance abuse issues. His motto seemed to be, "Live fast, perhaps die young, and leave a trail of battered quarterbacks in your wake." Taylor himself acknowledged these demons. "The demons will always be there. Always," he once said. "But you can always fight demons." Despite these personal challenges, Taylor's football legacy remained untarnished. As Hall of Famer Howie Long put it, "All I can say about Lawrence Taylor is that he's the best defensive football player I've seen. I've said many times he's the best player I've seen in my era defensively. Everyone else is a pretender." When discussing the greatest defensive players in NFL history, several names consistently appear alongside Taylor's: Reggie White, Bruce Smith, Dick Butkus, and more recently, Aaron Donald. White's unique blend of size and speed was remarkable, and his 198 career sacks rank among the all-time best. Smith's 200 career sacks remain an NFL record. Butkus redefined the middle linebacker position with his ferocity and instinct. But Taylor stands apart. As legendary quarterback Joe Montana said when asked what he would tell his grandkids about facing Taylor, that he was everything they said he was. When asked what he saw when he looked into Taylor's eyes, Montana replied simply, "You saw hunger." Ray Lewis, himself considered one of the greatest linebackers ever, put it succinctly, "He is the Michael Jordan of football." Lawrence Taylor's impact on football extends far beyond his impressive statistics. He didn't just excel at his position, he redefined it. Before Taylor, outside linebackers were primarily responsible for containing the run and dropping into coverage. Taylor transformed the position into one of the most important on the defensive side of the ball. His legacy can be seen in every modern NFL defense. The premium placed on edge rushers, the evolution of the left tackle position, the complex blitz packages designed to create mismatches, all can be traced back to Taylor's influence. As Taylor himself once said, "There are a lot of people who can make tackles, but I always seem to look for the big play." The big play got noticed. The big play was the one that changed the game. Lawrence Taylor wasn't just a great player. He was a force of nature that forever altered the landscape of professional football. His combination of size, speed, and relentless aggression forced offenses to evolve, created new positions, and elevated others. When Bill Belichick, widely regarded as the greatest coach in NFL history, was asked about Taylor, he stated simply, "Lawrence Taylor, defensively, has had as big an impact as any player I've ever seen." In a sport defined by its evolution, Lawrence Taylor stands as perhaps the most transformative defensive player in NFL history. He didn't just play the game, he changed it forever. And decades after his final snap, his influence continues to shape every defensive scheme and offensive protection in the National Football League. Lawrence Taylor wasn't just the best defensive player of his era. He was the man who showed the world that defense could be just as dominant, just as game-changing, and just as worthy of attention as any offensive superstar. And for that, the game of football will forever be in his debt. Another defining moment in Taylor's career came during a crucial divisional matchup against the Dallas Cowboys in 1981. The Giants were struggling, and Taylor took it upon himself to change the momentum. On a key third down, Taylor blew past All-Pro tackle Pat Donovan so quickly that quarterback Danny White had no chance to react. The bone-crushing sack energized the Giants' defense and shifted the entire complexion of the game. What made this play remarkable wasn't just the physical dominance, it was Taylor's ability to deliver in the biggest moments. As teammate Harry Carson later said, Lawrence had a sixth sense for when the team needed something extraordinary. He didn't just make plays, he made them precisely when we needed them most. This ability to rise to the occasion became Taylor's trademark. In a 1988 game against the New Orleans Saints, Taylor sacked quarterback Bobby Hebert 4 times, including a game-sealing strip sack in the final minutes. After the game, Saints coach Jim Mora simply shook his head and said, "We tried everything. Double teams, chip blocks, quick passes. Nothing worked. He's just different." The 1986 NFC Championship game against Washington provided another showcase for Taylor's dominance. With the Giants clinging to a 10-0 lead in the third quarter, Taylor exploded off the edge to sack quarterback Jay Schroeder, forcing a fumble that the Giants recovered. The turnover led to a Giants field goal, extending their lead in a game they would eventually win 17-0. What separated Taylor from other great players was his ability to completely take over games from the defensive side of the ball. As former NFL quarterback Phil Simms noted, most defensive players, even great ones, might make 3 or 4 impact plays a game. Lawrence could make 10. He didn't just affect plays, he dictated them. Taylor's preparation was as legendary as his physical gifts. Despite his well-documented off-field issues, Taylor was a student of the game. Giants defensive coordinator Bill Belichick would often create special packages just for Taylor, knowing that his football intelligence allowed him to handle responsibilities that would overwhelm other players. Lawrence understood offensive tendencies better than most offensive coaches, Belichick once said. He could tell you what a team was likely to run based on the tiniest details, how a guard was aligned, where the running back was positioned, even how the quarterback held his hands under center. This combination of physical dominance and football intelligence made Taylor the complete package, a player who could overwhelm you with pure athleticism or outsmart you with his understanding of the game. In a sport that celebrates its greatest players, Lawrence Taylor remains in a category of his own, not just one of the best to ever play, but a singular force who fundamentally changed how the game is played. His legacy isn't just in record books or highlight reels, but in the very DNA of modern football itself.